Hey everyone, my name is Celina Cordoba L, and I just wanted to take a minute before I jump into work this afternoon to thank everyone, first of all, for visiting CordobaOrganics.com. I've had a organic skincare handmade products that I've made for about 8 years now, and this has been the most flourishing year. So I just want to thank everyone that's taken a moment to visit and to spread the word, and also to encourage young business owners that it doesn't happen right away. You might not start seeing profits for a couple years. For me, it took about 5 years, to be quite honest. I wasn't able to retain anything that I made, but after about the 6th year, there has been a major shift, and then I'm going into the 7th and 8th year now. I'm very grateful. Just through word of mouth, you want to focus on what you can focus on. And for me, it was making products. And of course, then you have to learn the whole website stuff. And I've been very, very grateful that I've been able to learn how to upload all my products, take photos of everything, and just keep it current and running. So before going into that, I have a lot of orders this weekend, thank God. What I wanted to do, my plants were screaming at me. I actually just repotted a fern that's behind this fern. This is Jackson Heights. I literally name my plants whatever I kind of feel like they're speaking on. So this one is a little bit more petite than my buddy over here. And what I'll do after this is I'll just run you inside my crib real quick so you can see how I kind of set up my plants. This is actually the first place that I've been able to own and keep certain plants. I have one that's been with me for a while, just because it's a real good fortified jump off. But to be honest, plants to me have always represented a sense of permanence and a sense of consistency in my life. And just based on my given circumstances, I was never really able to have them long term. Just, you know, if you're from New York and you don't have parents, you definitely, shout outs to mine that's on the other side. But if you don't have parents and you've been on your own for like 20 plus years, you know that the hustle, especially from like 18 to 30, is just maintaining a crib and making sure you're not, you know, on someone's couch. So based on that, I never was able to have plants, but I love plants. They've become like really good friends of mine now. And look at the raven right there. Hi, Raven. Now it's funny because my rabbits are right behind me and this raven has been on it. So I'm watching him because my rabbits, I don't know if you can see it behind the glass, but I have 2 rabbits and they're right there. So I'm gonna watch Mr. Crow because he has been watching them and I've been peeping him. You know, it's natural. He wants some food. Anyway, so this is the first one. As you can see, I repotted it. It's quite beautiful. I've had this one for about 7 months now. This one I've had for about 6. I got this one a little bit after. It was smaller and it's just shot up the last 2 months like I don't know whose business or what or how or why. So what I wanted to do was just show you how I replant them. This is the pot I'm gonna put it in, and honestly, I hate bending or thinging on my knees just based on my knee surgery. It's not the best position for myself to be in. I can do it in the bed for a long time or on cushion, but I try to watch it. I'm watching you, Mr. Raven, Mr. Crow. It's actually a raven, you know, it's not a crow. Anyway, so that's the first one that was done. This is the second one that I'm gonna go ahead and do real quick. What I'm gonna do is just cut the top of it. If you have hanging plants, you're gonna have a little entrance point at the top of the bridge point of the plant. You just wanna cut it so that you can open up the plant. Here goes my scissor. Okay, he flew away. I can sit down. I don't feel like I need to be on attack. All right, so I just tied my hair up because it gets a little in the way of stuff and it will knock my plants. All right, so what we're gonna do is just basically, these are Boston ferns. I don't know all the names of my plants. I only know this one and maybe, let me make sure. I always be making sure I don't have no mosquitoes. Shout outs to Halt. A lot of people have been purchasing the natural mosquito repellent. It's got like 12 butters in it. I don't have it on camera because it's not that deep. I just wanted to take a couple minutes to cut this bad boy off because it's growing. Before I water it today, I said, let me get this out of here And I've been waiting like 2 weeks to do it. I don't know why I've been waiting so long, but this one I did a couple nights ago, and it was like, you know, you really need to tape that. I don't believe in taping everything anymore, but what I did want to say is that it doesn't take, you know, you just kind of go through it. I never knew or learned anything. I'm not a gardener like that, but I am an earth sign, and I love plants and fish, and I love dogs and all that other stuff, but I don't never had a huge crib, and I don't want no animal up in my house or on my couch and stuff. So, all right, this is what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna show you why I'm really doing this, because some of the leaves, I don't know if you can see it, all the way on the inside are turning yellow, because literally it's growing out of its home. So I got a couple bags, and I'll show you. I have maybe like 25 other plants inside, but they're all basically repotted already. I don't keep them in the pots that they come in. So this is a bag of organic soil. What you want to do, you don't need organic. It's up like $2 more. Why am I not going to get it? So what I do real quick is I just put a little bit in the bottom of the pot so that it has a little base to jump in. A lot of people use gloves. I like gloves, but I actually like the feel of the dirt on my hands, funny enough. So I just do that and make that happen. So what we're gonna do now that it's cut, and there's some dirt in the bottom of this pot, I'm gonna just tip it over. Hold on a second. I'm just gonna tip it over and shake it out. Okay, okay. This is the part I hate. All right, all right, all right. This is the part I hate, because it literally gets tangled in the leaves. Hold on a second. I have to take my time. Bam! I think I only broke like 1 or 2 leaves off. Okay, so now that I have it out, there's another piece of plastic. Maybe it came off. I don't know where it's at, but this is the focus. This one's roots, just want to make sure it's a little shaken up before you replant it. You're going to throw it in there, settle it in on the sides. Yes, okay. There is no plastic. It's inside, and then after you do that and it's basically replanted, all you're going to do is use your filler soil and just chuck it in on the sides. Again, I can't feel anything with these surgical gloves on. I am going to take them off, reposition a little, and go to town, all right? So all I'm gonna do now is just take my hand and stick some of this dirt in the sides just to pocket and fill in all the space. Oh, there it goes. I'm like, where did the damn pot go? It's in front of me. And then I'm gonna basically just turn it. Now, one thing I also wanted to state is don't kill yourself if you can't have certain plants. Get like 1 or 2 that you might really, might speak to you, and rock from there. So this is gonna need a little bit more dirt. It literally takes up the whole pot though. Has a little bit of room. Some of the dirt's gonna get on the floor. That's why I don't do it in my house. And then I just call the front desk and ask for the broom so that whoever works this shift doesn't have to go crazy. But it's supposed to rain tonight, so I decided to do it today because it will wash away all this dirt. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just holding it and making sure there's enough fill dirt around the sides. This is pretty centered because I literally saw the pot and I was like, is this for Michael Jackson? This is Michael Jackson. I don't know why that's Jackson Heights and these are Jacksons. I have no idea. Anyway, that's what they spoke to me, but this is Michael Jackson. All right. And I do have a lot of women plants. Ella Fitzgerald is in there. Amy Winehouse. You got to see Amy Winehouse. She's dope. Another thing that I wanted to express is that I get plants that are basically dying or look like they are in dishevelment. So she really was, and she came to life. This one wasn't. It was just like a tinier version of this, and I was like, oh, what a cute little plant. So it just bloomed and grew outward, and now, I'm only, 100 pounds and 5 foot. So I laugh because when I walked out with this plant. She was like, that plant might grow really big. And I said, well, it's tiny to begin with like me, so I'm gonna rock with it. And nonetheless, it is very big and blossoming. It doesn't need a whole lot of light. I do get a lot of bright light in the front, but you'll see I'll basically move it. So this is the jump off. Now, before I finish, I'm just gonna water it. I have a nice watering can. Nice meaning it spouts out, I can kind of stick it in the bottom. But I'm gonna show you guys what I really water with, which is just a really tiny water bottle with like a little spout, like a little, it's a lotion bottle. And I just squeeze right in the roots so that it gets everything that it really does. But these get watered with this because the ferns are quite plentiful. And then what'll happen is that all the soil will be able to settle into what I just put it in. So I actually want to see some of the water come out the bottom just to make sure that it's really watered nicely. I could already feel that it's going in. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this can. And another thing that I do that's kind of extra, kind of crazy, most would say, is collect my own rainwater. And all I do is just put a couple buckets out when it rains and let them fill, and then I put them in a watering can, this, and or something else small and perfect. All right, now what I'm gonna do, I prune her like I do my hair. I literally, and I say her, but he's named Michael Jackson. Anyway, I prune her just like my hair and make sure none of these little dry jump offs are getting too in the middle. Now that I've gotten a new home for it, I don't think I'm gonna be seeing any of these. At least that's the goal. So I'm just putting my hand all up in her hair, all up in his hair. This reminds me, I don't know why it's Michael Jackson, but it's like Michael in his Afro stages. And I do have Prince, of course, inside as well. This is actually, you know, somebody tried this and I did a little show the other night. And I've never done a live stream or anything. And I thought the topic was about couples and relationships. Long story short, it wasn't. So here I am talking about A, and I didn't even see the comments. You know, when you do stuff, I make sure I am not in a space of having to read and be affected by what I see people may be writing. So long story short, I didn't even know until the next day and I saw the title. Made me chuckle, but it also, I did read a couple of the comments, and you know, people will try to diss you for exposing your own truths or sharing certain things that actually allowed you to gain a lot of clarity and a lot of prosperity. One of which for me is I don't have a huge social life. I literally, since moving out here, you know, I'm a New Yorker. No New Yorkers are here right now that I could merge with. I've met a lot of people, but like people that I'm really close to ask to come to my home for dinner. No, it's been about 8 years. Now, during that time is actually when I started my business and started saying, okay, what can I put my energy into outside of going to a yoga studio and teaching, because that's cool. But for some reason, years ago, I felt like, let me figure out what to do that doesn't require being in someone else's space, that doesn't require needing a group of people or, you know, a class. Like, I didn't want to be so reliant on all of that. So that was a hard transference, because you transfer and you're like, okay, I could be making money doing this, but my goal is to do something that has my thumbprint on it. And yoga's great, but unless you own your own studio and unless you're really into the politics of it, you're gonna just end up maybe like myself that really just enjoys teaching it one-on-one still, and just doing it for oneself in your home. So all that's to say, I don't feel ridiculed at 43 anymore that I don't have a surplus of friends. I know a lot of people in Brooklyn, but again, the last like 10 years since I've had my son, things shift. And if you are focused on your home, or you're focused on not being on the phone and chit-chatting, and you're focused on learning, whether it be a new language, whether it be, you know, challenging yourself to do 90 plus yoga a day, whatever it is, you're not gonna really be on the phone. Right now, there's a huge movement of like Twitteries and whateveries, Facebookies, and you know, I would love to be more social through that, but it takes energy away from me being able to produce energy for my plants and for my products and all that other stuff. And now I have over 55 products that I all hand make. So it's not that overwhelming because I remember each year that I did the recipe and blah, blah, blah. But to be quite honest, I'm not hurt anymore that, you know, I used to be affected that, oh, I haven't gone to the movies with anybody in a couple months, and I don't go get my nails done, and because part of that is, you know, a part of your social conditioning to think that you actually need to talk to someone or be friends with, you know, people like that. But, you know, it doesn't work like that for all of us. And I really wanted to embrace the fact that certain things took place to allow me to realize what I really needed to value and what I had put my energy into. And that was my relationship and my son, and trying to, of course, ask, hey, let's do this, let's do that. I love partnerships, as you know, my little Libra rising. I love doing stuff with people and for people, but when you start to not be able to see the fruition of your energy, you want to not be afraid to shift gears. And as a, you know, Virgo, I like staying mutable. So I might do a couple of things that bring me joy, but when it comes to making money, my long-term dream, what it is I want to be able to save for my son and for myself and provide, I knew that I needed to not always be in a yoga studio or in front of a camera. That was my download. So you want to be able to listen to all those things and, you know, not feel like you have to do what everybody else is doing. Thus, a lot of clarity, a lot of good growth, and I've been really at peace and happy. And I don't feel like I need friends. It sounds really cheesy, but, you know, I must not, because God hasn't sent certain energies to me like that yet, in the form of feminine energy. And, you know, I know a lot of people, but again, to call people and let me focus on learning how to upload this and do that. So enjoy your plant life, enjoy your home life. Right now it's extremely tumultuous outside. So remember that moments in the rain, collecting rainwater, doing things for not only your family and yourself, but creating peace by not always feeling as though you have to engage with social media and all the other things that equate to success. To be quite honest, for me, emailing people one-on-one, letting them know how grateful I was for their support and stuff, started to grow after about 2 years. And people are like, wow, she really does write every time. And those things mean a lot to me, because I, you know, regardless of what a number might state on Instagram, someone pointed out, you know, why you're this, and I don't really check to see who's following like that, because I didn't know a lot of the people that started following, and it seemed a little weird. But, you know, you want to be grateful for whatever window is open for you to communicate through. So I wanted to just do this to remind people that, you know, you don't have to like get a gardening book. I kind of just felt stuff out and asked questions like, you know, is it difficult? And really, to be honest, I just said, okay, repotting something has to mean taking it out of one thing and putting it in another. Put a little dirt at the bottom, did a little research online, okay, make sure all your pots have holes on the bottom. And if you do buy pots that don't, make sure they're metal or aluminum, so that you can just tap a little nail or something through it to create a little air pocket and hole. That's actually what I'll show you and what I do. I get great like tins out here for my plants, and they don't have holes on the bottom, so I just hammer a little hole, throw my pot in there, and it grows out beautifully. So you want to give your pot space and room to grow. Hi Tupac and Biggie. I'm gonna show you guys just how the setup is, and to me that's actually what I would consider my altar to be. A lot of people's altars don't have to be candles,